pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the August 13th, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, and joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could begin with our first item.
First item 2, unfinished business. Consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number 2018-1, amending the Shawnee County Building Code to incorporate updates and changes to conform to the City of Topeka Building Code and to eliminate specific reference to the year a code was adopted by the International Code Council.
I think Mr. Beagle, our planning director, is at the back of the room. This is his item.
Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. I have nothing further to add beyond what I expressed last Thursday. This will bring our codes in alignment with 3 code updates that were recently adopted by the City of Topeka.
Okay. We had our first reading on Thursday. We had the opportunity for any public input. And at this time, Commissioners, are there any questions? I move for approval of the Home Rule Resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 6 items on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Vouchers are totaling $1,508,322.20. Large majority of that is with pool cash and payroll, $625,902.06. Also with Corizon Health, $275,408.27, and that is under the detention facility. And then we also have under sewer districts and special assessments with the City of Topeka totaling $109,479.83. It's for the second quarter operation and maintenance of the Sherwood and sewer districts 2, 6, and number 65. So if there are no questions, I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A3, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2018-38, exempting certain property owned by Frito-Lay, Inc. from ad valorem taxation for economic development purposes. And Commissioners, this is, you had obviously set the public hearing, so once you open the hearing, the procedures are set out here, and that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
Jim can answer any other questions.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to open the public hearing, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. As you know from last week, the Administrative Review Committee that reviewed the amended application in this case did recommend approval of this exemption this morning. Also present, if you want to stand up and introduce yourselves. From Frito-Lay, they travel a long way. We should at least introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
Kathy Alfano, I lead the Economic Development Team from PepsiCo.
Claude Owens, I'm a colleague of Kathy's.
Good morning, Mark Brinker, the Site Director for Frito-Lay.
Thank you. We'll be happy to answer any, you've got all the documentation, be happy to answer any questions you might have about this project.
Jim, if you could just briefly walk us through, this is an exemption of the ad valorem taxation, and then the length of time and the justification, what the requirements are to meet that.
Sure. Pursuant to state constitution, state statute, and then our Home Rule Resolution 2002-9, we've set out policies and procedures for granting a tax exemption or abatement on property taxes involving new value. When a company such as Frito-Lay intends to invest in our community and add new value, then we have the legal authority to exempt from property taxes that new value created for up to 100% of the new value for a maximum of 10 years. And that is the request in this case. This particular project is a warehouse expansion project. They did purchase new land for this new warehouse facility, and they are going to construct this new facility, make a significant investment, which will add some jobs, which are a requirement to this. More importantly, it shows a commitment from the company to invest in our local community and put us in place to be competitive within their own company nationally to receive more investments in the future. And so for those reasons, the Administrative Review Committee unanimously recommended approval of this exemption only on the new value. This does not exempt existing properties, and that's what people need to understand. We're not exempting existing properties. We're exempting the value of something that we might not have otherwise without the exemption. And then after a period of 10 years, that property then does come on the tax rolls. And just FYI to the community, we've previously approved 3 exemptions for Frito-Lay, which are getting close, I believe, over the next 3 years or so, will be coming back on the tax roll. So the community will receive taxes from those investments.
In the part, description of the public benefit, it outlines that as a result of the expansion of the warehouse and the creation of this new facility, that the Topeka Frito-Lay would have the opportunity to grow, and that there would be local construction. This is going to be impacting our local economy with construction jobs, and then out of area of contractors. And then additionally, this is an expansion investment in the future of the plant, as it would allow the opportunity to grow more lines at Frito-Lay in the future, where we don't have that capacity right now given the current facility.
Correct.
And so we're making an investment now to hopefully have a much larger investment in the future.
Correct.
Okay. Commissioners, questions regarding this item? Commissioner Archer?
We have visitors from Go Topeka if they'd like to add anything this morning.
Good morning. I'm Jackie Steele. I'm the Vice President of Business Retention and Expansion with Go Topeka. And I'll just add a couple things. We've been working with Frito on this project. Obviously, anytime we have an existing business, as the business retention person, I think that that's one of the most important things, is how can we get our businesses here to grow and retain them. And so I think what a lot of people maybe don't realize is this is still a competition. Yes, Frito has made a significant investment here, but they also have facilities throughout the country. And so we're looking at how can we be competitive so that we can get that investment to happen here in Topeka, and providing this incentive to them is going to help that. As we talked about, Frito is looking at this as something that's going to prepare them for the future. So when we look at the growth of that, it isn't just from the manufacturing side, but also from Go Topeka's side. We looked at it from the growth in terms of the land. So with Frito-Lay, doing this expansion is going to allow them to free up some space to potentially, hopefully then we compete to get more manufacturing and more jobs. But also with this project, they're going to be doing some infrastructure changes. So I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to look at a map. And if you look to kind of the south and west of Frito-Lay, there's a lot of open land. With this project, they're going to be looking at doing some infrastructure that's going to create some streets that will eventually go to the west and then to the south, which is something that we have talked about for a long time. And so this opportunity is just the first step in then opening more land for development. So we're kind of looking at this as not just an expansion for Frito, but it's one more step that's going to get us closer as a community to getting some additional infrastructure in, which will then open more land for development. So I think that's an important component to keep in mind. Also, Frito-Lay has been a good corporate citizen. They're involved in a lot of things throughout the community. They are one of our largest employers. From Go Topeka standpoint, food manufacturers are one of our target industries, so we're really trying to help those industries grow. It's something that we're good at. We really have kind of an agglomeration economy here. And then finally, the last thing that I would just like to add is I think it's important to note that this is a significant capital investment by Frito-Lay, and again, we hope to get more from that. Also, just would like to note that they are not receiving any Go Topeka or JADO incentives with this. They have not requested that, so as of right now, we're looking at simply the property tax.
Good.
I'd be happy to answer any questions from our side.
Any additional questions?
No. Thank you, Jackie. I'll move to adopt the resolution.
I would like to say, though, too, I'll second, but thank you for your existing presence here in our community, but your future presence as well as far as expansion. And I'm glad Jackie mentioned about the corporate citizenship. Great partners with a lot of different people in our community, businesses and nonprofit groups, so thank you.
Before we take a public vote, I believe, Ms. Ahrens, you have some, if you would please.
Thank you. I'm sorry, this will take me a moment because my printer jammed, and so I have to use my notes off my computer, which I am not used to doing. So please bear with me.
Please take your time.
I did get copies of documents which I got last year from Ms. Beck regarding the amount of exemptions that we provide. And I have copies for each of those. This is our current provision. Just to remind you, I know you're aware of what they are.
Thank you.
This is just to help with our discussion this morning. And here's one.
You can keep it with you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for giving me time to speak, which you do, to make our government open. My name is Marge Ahrens, and I've been a resident of Shawnee County since 1982. I want to comment on this proposal, not because it's a target at Frito-Lay, one of our very important employers in the community, and a very generous one, as you have talked about. But you established tax policy for our entire county. I actually didn't know until it was just spoken by your counselor that you have an established policy about these issues. I want to understand that in its scope and purpose in comparison with that of nearby counties. Each of your decisions in our name to give away the responsibility to pay taxes reduces support for our schools, our governments, our university, library, and public transit. Those governmental units are then left with the responsibility for doing without or fighting to raise money for such things as street repairs or even possibly funding affordable housing. We have a right to know what you as our representatives require in return for this government subsidy to business in numbers, and that in the past have or have not produced well-paying jobs. I don't know, for instance, the number of real jobs that will be produced by this grant of freedom from property taxes, and it could be that it's going to be about robo-jobs. I don't know. We need to know exactly what your gifts to the businesses have gained for our community. Shawnee County data indicates that we gave away $8 million in 2017 to 12 corporations by exempting them from property taxes. And it is true, it was towards the 10-year end of some for Frito-Lay, but they are on the list there of tax exemptions. In addition, Go Topeka plans to give away another $7 million of our sales tax dollars as incentive offers and site expenditures to businesses this year. All of this happens in an environment in which our county GNP and population declines. In 2017, those subsidies to businesses took, as you have in the red marked area, it took up almost $2 million from one school district. That was USD 437. It took almost $2.5 million from the county. They took almost $2 million from the city of Topeka. And it's in small districts like fire districts and watershed districts all paid up when we gave money to businesses. It's important to keep this in mind because those units of government struggle to keep their budgets balanced and to pay for what we need. We're facing another sales tax issue just to fix our city streets, which are driven on by all the people from the whole county, not just the 2/3 people who live there. We know that our property tax rates are among the highest in the nation, and that what is paid in taxes by landlords is passed on to renters. We know that our sales tax rate has been among the highest in the state. In addition, the disproportionate amount paid in sales tax by our poorest residents bears down heavily on their ability to survive. Local government is struggling to maintain infrastructure, as I mentioned, and it is learned now that our children do no more in proportion to the financial investment we make in their schools. The effects of what you have done and plan to do in regard to the use of public money needs to reflect the needs of all the people of our county. Nearby communities are growing in numbers and GNP. Please ask specifically how our community benefits from these donations. Scrutinize and manage these monies with as much clarity and value judgments as you do when you administer your departments. And you do a very careful job of that. The money comes from the same people whom you serve, all of those people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Ahrens? In the report of the economic impact of Frito-Lay Incorporated in Topeka, Kansas, on page 6 of that report, it does specifically lay out that this is to be a 86,000 square foot building. It will be an investment of $30.6 million in the new building, $2.9 million for land, $19.7 in buildings and other real property, and $8 million in furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Additionally, it will create 7 new permanent job positions with an annual salary of $50,000 per job. In addition, there are 6 current positions that are being retained and will be elevated with incremental training and wages for those 6 jobs. The economic impact of over the next 10 years in the Topeka area is a impact of, in addition, $9 million. Market value of the firm's property added to the tax rolls of $9,256,360. And so those are all outlined within the economic impact study, and those are carefully reviewed by the county commission as well as the counselor's office before we grant any tax exemptions. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Commissioner Archer.
League of Women Voters is a 501c3 organization, is that correct?
I am speaking for myself. I am not here.
A question, is that a
No,
501c3 organization?
The League of Women Voters is actually a 501c4 organization.
Now, does it pay property taxes?
I don't think we have any property.
Okay. Okay.
But-
My only point is that we have a lot of exempt organizations within Shawnee County.
Oh, certainly, I do know that.
If they weren't exempt, you know, we could raise more. This is for economic development. This is for jobs and
True.
capital improvements in our community, and I think it's worthwhile. I'll amend my,
You actually, I think you made a motion. It was a
Yeah,
motion to close and adopt?
yes, it was.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Close and adopt.
Motion to close and adopt by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion passes 3-0. Thank you very much. Our next item.
Item A4, consider approval of request to set a public hearing on August 23rd, 2018, on assessments for Timber Ridge Subdivision Street Benefit District Phase 4 and Sterling Chase Subdivision Number 1, Street Benefit District 3, Phase 3.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Emergency Management Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contracts C-247-2018 through C-249-2018 with the Northeast Kansas Homeland Security Council for the transfer of grant-funded equipment.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. This is just another piece of equipment that's being transferred from the Northeast region out of a purchase to Shawnee County.
Move to approve the contracts.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, County Councilor Number 1, acknowledge receipt of the Administrative Review Committee's report regarding a tax exemption for Mars Wrigley's Confectionery U.S. LLC, and consider scheduling a public hearing on August 20th, 2018 to consider the tax exemption.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. This is going to sound familiar. We just did this step last week with Frito-Lay. The Administrative Review Committee did meet on an application received by Mars Wrigley Confectionery, and we met on August 8th. We've attached the report of that meeting, wherein we are recommending a 100% 10-year tax abatement on new expansion at the Mars facility, which is also very good news. We need to take two actions this morning: accept the report, and then set that matter for a public hearing next Monday, August 20th.
And the reason why it would be on the 20th and not the 16th is due to the Board of County Canvassers.
Right. We have a small matter to take up on Thursday.
Then I would so move to adopt the, or to, is it adopt the recommendation, or acknowledge receipt of the,
Yes, acknowledge receipt of the report, and then set the matter for a public hearing.
then it is so moved by the Commissioner.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item D, Parks and Recreation, Number 1, consider approval of appointments, new appointments of Lindy Spooner, Derek Fairlog, and Ty Hyson, and reappointments of Ping Enriquez, L.J. Pauley, Luke Yoder, Terry Roberts, Joe Ledbetter, and Eric Cortez to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Before you, we have ratification of a total of 9 members. 6 are returning from the board. I'd like to touch on the 3 new ones that are coming in. I invited them, but I don't see, I knew 2 of them couldn't make it. I thought Lindsay was going to, but I'll go ahead and give you a brief bio of each one. Lindsay Spooner, she's a programs director for the National Alliance of Mental Illness, responsible for overseeing and supporting the development of the National Alliance of Mental Illness signature programs throughout the state. She has dedicated much of her life here in Topeka to civic activism and leadership and development of Topeka. She holds a BBA in the emphasis of accounting and strives to help the National Alliance of Mental Illness become the go-to source of support and education and resources throughout Kansas. I'm excited. She sounds like she's going to be a great fit for our board. And the other members would be Ty Henson, not Henson, excuse me, Heinston. He is a financial advisor. He's involved with volunteering for Forge as a volunteer chair. He's recently went to the Leadership of Greater Topeka class of 2017, and I think, again, he's going to be a major asset to our board. And last but not least is Derek Flairloggy. He's originally from St. Mary's, recent graduate of Washburn University, licensed licensed respiratory therapist for Stormont Vale. And he brings to our board, he loves athletics, he loves sports and outdoors, but also the mental aspect that he's learned through his education. So all three of these, I'm excited. I think they're going to be assets to the board, but I also want to take the time to thank the board members that were leaving the board, Shari Black, Kent Pellegrino, and Kristen O'Shea. They all did a very good job, and I want to thank them for their commitment over the last 3 years. So,
Yeah, I really do appreciate everybody that does help and serve. It helps provide us. We just couldn't do everything without volunteers, and so do appreciate those that did serve and thank them for their service. Any questions regarding the appointments and reappointments?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0.
thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item D2, consider approval of request to award the bid for tulip bulbs to Unix, Inc. at a cost of $20,271.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Boyd, Shawnee County Parks and Rec. We are seeking approval for purchase of our tulip bulbs for tulip time in the spring. As it says in the memo, this is completely funded by the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Foundation. And I do have Rachel Meyer, our foundation coordinator here, and Dave Bartle, our horticulture supervisor, to answer any specific questions.
Well, I guess the real question is, Dave, what do you got up your sleeve this year?
I think there's 98,
I know that you plan now and lay out, it's always something new and unique every year.
Well, there is, I believe, a wine tasting event that's being talked about, and hopefully the weather's a lot better, and we don't have to get back up here and say, oh boy, this is not right, like we have in the past. We're having talks about, on my level anyway, about promoting it into a 5-state area so we have more people coming from out of town. I think that's an important, valuable piece that we've kind of done a so-so job. We're trying to do better, and we're really looking at how to make it better that way. And other than that, it's 98 varieties, I think, this year. So
Wow.
there's a lot of extra things to really look at.
I know you guys always do a great job, even weather. When it stands in the way, it still comes out beautiful.
Eventually. A lot of stress on our part. Again, volunteers, we can't do it all without volunteers, so continue supporting all the volunteer efforts.
I thought John and I dug each tulip bulb out, planned each one.
He usually shows up just about the time we're just about done.
Any questions regarding
No,
purchase?
I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, Health Department. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a cell phone for use by the Shawnee County Health Officer at a cost of $40 per month from the Shawnee County Health Department 2018 and 2019 budgets.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Department. We are needing a cell phone for our health officer. We are communicating with him several times a week. It seems like it's increased over the past year, and we need the ability to do that in a secure manner. I did communicate with Pat O'Blender with County IT, and he did say this is the best way to do this, is through a county-issued cell phone. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, and we do have it covered in our budget for 2018 and 2019.
Any questions regarding this item? I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to reclassify a local health department support specialist to an administrative officer, range 14, step 15, for a longtime employee at a cost of $78,162, including benefits from the 2018 and 2019 budget.
Linda Oaks from the Health Department again. We have spent a lot of time over the past few months looking at positions and where they should be placed, and we have eliminated several positions. So this position we looked at, it really did need to be reclassified based on the duties of the position. I'm also thinking about succession planning. This person and this position works very closely with the director I'm not going to be here another 10 years, so we want to make sure we get the right person in this position and with the right abilities and experience so they can help that new director. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, and again, this is covered in our budgets.
As part of the reclassification, were there additional job duties or responsibilities placed upon the person?
Really, we really just looked at what they were doing. I mean, this position has a broad level of responsibility. This position touches everybody in the health department through HR responsibilities, IT tickets, minutes for leadership meetings and other meetings, contracts. This person takes care of all the contracts and grants that need to come through this office. So it was really just looking at everything. And I think over the years, more has been piled on this position. That's kind of how it works. And so that's why we are asking for it today.
Any additional questions regarding
I
this?
do not. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E3, consider approval of a request for out-of-state travel for 2 staff members to attend the Public Health Accreditation Board training with costs covered for 1 staff member through the accreditation fees and the director's cost estimated at $1,357 funded from the 2018 budget.
Linda Oaks from the Health Department again. A few weeks ago, we asked to apply for accreditation, and you gave us that approval, so we did apply for that accreditation. One person, our accreditation coordinator, her training is included in the fee. We are asking to send myself with her, the director, so that we can really understand the materials. It's a lot to take in. And so we're asking for approval of this travel request, and hopefully we'll come back ready to go for accreditation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions regarding this item?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Our next item.
Item F, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for qualifications for professional design services to prepare engineering plans and bidding specifications for the removal and replacement of the Sherwood Pumping Station with funding from the Sherwood Regional Wastewater Account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Black with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item, and the pump station we are talking about is a sanitary sewer pump station located near 37th and Wood Glen. This station is rather aged and is starting to have lots of maintenance issues. So we've been working with the City of Topeka Water Pollution Control staff, who does the operation and maintenance for the Sherwood system for us. We believe, or we are certain, it is at a time that we need to replace this station in its entirety. So we would like to go out for requests for proposals to hire a design consultant to help us do that. The funding for this, the entire project, we believe, will be around $300,000 for the entire project. And as mentioned in the memo, the funding would come from the Sherwood wastewater account, which is a user fee-based account, and no tax funds are utilized for this account. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Tom, I think it's fitting that your last meeting is starting off with a discussion of a sanitary pump station.
Sorry, Tom.
Not all of us are happy to see you go.
And there's only one person I'm really happy to leave, too.
I'm sure you'll get 2 cookies on the way out. Any discussions regarding the sanitary pump station?
Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F2, consider approval of request to extend the contract period for purchase of de-icing salt until April 30th, 2019, and authorization and execution of contract C250-2018 with Central Salt LLC with a financial impact of up to $223,960 if fully utilized, with funding from the Road Maintenance Fund and the Grove and Monmouth Township Road Maintenance Funds.
Commissioners, Tom Black again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This, too, is a Public Works item. And back in 2014, we teamed with the City of Topeka to purchase de-icing materials. And at that time, Central Salt was actually the lone bidder for this material. Since then, each year they have offered to extend the pricing that we received back in 2014 for our de-icing salt. We believe it's a fair price, and we'd like to continue this contract on. They've been good at delivery. Salt supply, there are not many salt suppliers in the state. So if we can lock them down at this price, we think it's be to our advantage to do so. That is what this request is all about. And as mentioned, we will pay for only what we actually purchase from them. And then it will also, we also, since we maintain Grove Township and Monmouth Township's roads in their behalf, for any salt that we purchase for their roads, they would then reimburse us for that amount. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions regarding the contract?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F3, consider authorization and execution of contracts C-251-2018 through C-258-2018 for preventive maintenance services with Foley Equipment Company for 4 Caterpillar backhoes and 4 skid steer loaders with a financial impact of up to $6,536.94 annually for 4 years with funding from the Equipment Maintenance Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item, and Commissioners Archer and Cook may not be aware of this, but back in, well, 7 years ago or so, 7+ years ago, we entered into at that time it was going to be a lease purchase agreement with the Caterpillar Company, which is now Foley, for 4 backhoes and 4 skid steers. And as part of that agreement, they provided the preventive maintenance services for the 7-year period. We ended up purchasing all those pieces of equipment. They're still in very good condition. What we would like to do is continue the preventative maintenance aspect of that contract, in which each year they would do, with certified technicians from Caterpillar, do a thorough check and preventive maintenance to keep these pieces of equipment in really good condition for the years to come. What is before you is a proposal they had given us to do just that, and it would be a 4-year contract in which they would do, like I said, a thorough preventive maintenance service to each piece of equipment annually. Looking at the cost to do so for each piece of equipment, we think it would be well worth it, and we think it will really, again, prolong the lifespan of each piece of equipment. So it's our recommendation that we enter into this agreement with Foley to do this preventative maintenance work. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Any questions? I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item G, Information Technology. Number 1, consider approval of request to engage the services of Torgerson Trenching as part of the Trade Services Agreement to move a 2,700-foot section of aerial fiber from a set of Westar-owned utility poles to an area not affected by construction of the Southeast 29th Street widening project with funding from the 2018 contingency fund at a cost not to exceed $13,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Blender with the Information Technology Department. As mentioned in the reading, this is the a request to use contingency funding to fund the movement of a fiber from an existing set of utility poles that have to be moved as part of the 29th Street widening project north of Lake Shawnee. The county does have a fiber that runs along those poles that supports data needs of the Parks and Rec Department and the golf course along the east edge of Lake Shawnee. The long-term plan for that fiber is to put it into an underground conduit. We are working with the Public Works Department in order to have a conduit installed as part of the widening project, but we first have to take this step of moving the fiber and getting it out of the way before the fiber conduit can even be installed. So we do have to move it once, then we have to move it again to put it into a conduit that will be put in as part of the project we are working towards. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
You're going to have this work done before any of the public works gets underway, so it's not going to tie up or slow down our public works. Mr. Vlock talked last Thursday about utilities and relocation and slowing down our work. I just want to make sure we're not going to stand in the way of our work.
We, Shawnee County IT, do plan not to be in the rogues gallery of vendors that do not get it done. So yes, we will have that work completed, so.
And that is a large gallery, too.
Yes, I understand.
All right. Any questions regarding this work?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by
Second.
Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment and recognize that this is Tom Vlock's last meeting with us. Tom, it's been a pleasure to have you serve as our Public Works Director. We are very sad to see you go. I know that we've said this a number of times, but just one more time won't hurt. Thank you for all of your service to the county, and we do have some cookies and some snacks on the way out the door. Make sure you stop and say good luck to you on your future endeavors.
Thank you, and actually, that's why I'm standing here, because as it is my last meeting, I want to take one last opportunity to thank you all as a commission and thank everyone here at the county. It has truly been a complete joy to be able to work with everyone, to serve the citizens of the county. I will always have fond memories of this place. I always will. Like I said, it's difficult to leave. Just happens to be a point in our life with my wife and family that there's just something else we're going to do. And as I mentioned before, if I could take everybody with me, I would do that, because it is truly a great place. And I know government always, it's just typical that people think of government as just wasting time, wasting money. If there is an entity that does not do that for its taxpayers, it is Shawnee County. And in the decade plus that I've been here, it has never been that way. I know there have been times that people may not have agreed to what I recommended to the board or whatever, but it is truly, if we were responsible for something, then I thought we did it. If I truly felt that we weren't, then we didn't. And sometimes people don't like hearing that, but that's just the way it is, because we represent the entire county in all aspects and not just individual circumstances where someone may want something. But again, I cannot thank you all enough, and thank everyone at the county enough. It's just been a complete joy, and I really don't know what else to say. Just thank you very much.
Des Moines is getting a great new employee. The chamber took a trip to Des Moines and looked at some of the projects that they were working on, and I walked away with a very, very positive impression of Des Moines, so much so that this summer I took a family vacation, and we went back to Des Moines just to see if we got just a good view of Des Moines or a real view, and it really is a good community. And so I would ask that if there are things that Des Moines is doing that can help us and enhance us in Shawnee County, pick up the phone and give us a call, send some of those things down. And if you see some economic development to send our way, we try to take that too.
Well, I definitely will, because I want nothing more for Topeka and Shawnee County than to succeed. And if this is any worth anything, I guess, or anything to feel good about, is for whatever reason, when my wife and I leave a community, that community has shown to really expand economically after we leave. So we left Lincoln, Nebraska, and the next decade it has exploded. And then the first time we left Des Moines just exploded. So as our parting gift to you, we're going to leave. And
Okay, John Knight, start packing the bags.
And I am already seeing with the local investment of significant business leaders and companies. You can see that turning, and so I do believe it's going to happen, and it's just going to happen faster when we're gone. So, but I was going to tell Kellen at the Expo Center, I said, when the Expo Center is all done, so I expect free tickets to the Darius Rucker concert when I come back. So anyway, But no, like I said, I seriously love this place, love working here, love the people I work with, and I will always keep tabs on what's going on, and I will always have a open phone, email, if someone wants to say, just to, and help make that transition of my successor. I want this place to succeed more than you can know. So, and I truly believe it will happen, and I hope it does. So.
I just wanted to say, Tom, I had the privilege, you were one of my first hires when I became a commissioner, and so we've worked a long time together, so thank you for everything. I wish all the best to you in your new profession, or your position with Des Moines, and then to your family, too. I wish them all the best, so I know we'll still be talking, but you've left a huge impact on this community, so thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, in the words of Neil Sedaka, breaking up is hard to do. And we're truly going to miss you. It's the end of an era for Shawnee County, and your service to your community is well-known, and it's deeply appreciated. Thank you, Tom, and best wishes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other administrative communications from department heads or members of the public on any item?
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I just wanted to let you know that the 2019 budget and the budget at a glance has been added to the Shawnee County website. It's under the audit finance area, but there's also a link from the commission webpage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly Howie, Senior Vice President of Economic Development for Go Topeka, and I was here to support the Mars and Frito agenda items, but I just wanted to echo Jackie's comments and speak a little bit more about the support that you give to our existing businesses and what story that really tells to the other companies that are looking at locating here. About 9 days ago, we hosted a company here that's looking at taking all of the remaining acreage in Kansa Fire, which is 236 acres, and a bunch of their questions were centered around our government and our community's openness to doing business and how supportive we are. And I think our incentive offerings tell that story, but the continued support for our existing businesses and the value that you all put on that is just underlining that support, and shows that the service after the sale is still here. And so that was one of the things that we really drove home in that meeting too, is that we don't want to just hook them and bring them here. We want them to continue to grow. And so continued support in that way is very valuable for our toolbox. And just to touch a little bit more on existing business and its relationship with new business attraction. So right now we have 31 new business attraction projects in the pipeline, and really those come in about 4 or 5 a month, and then as some come on, others drop off. But I've given the analogy before, but I don't think to this group, that site selection has changed in the past probably 4 or 5 years. It's like buying a car. Back in the day, you would go test drive a bunch of cars and kick the tires on a lot of different cars, and there's probably a lot of them that you weren't going to buy and probably didn't do research on and plan to buy. Site selection has changed just like car buying has. When you go to test drive cars, you're probably test driving a select few because you've done research and the data is there to prove that it's a good value. So we need to keep telling that story so that people do come and test drive and come have site visits in our community to test out the waters here and see what it would be like to do business. So I appreciate your openness to attending those site visits and hope to invite you on some more in the future. So
Thank you.
Molly. Thank you.
Commissioner Archer, anything?
We're fortunate to have Molly on our side in recruiting. The only other thing I had was National Night Out was Saturday night, and my neighborhood, the Spring Hill subdivision, we were a new participant in National Night Out. It was well attended. It was very enjoyable, and I wanted to thank Officer Derek Child for attending the meeting, and also Councilman Aaron Mays for coming. It was a very nice night out. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Bueller, anything?
I don't know that I have a whole lot to add, other than it's the beginning of school. I have already attended senior orientation this morning at Hayden High School, so it's going to be a busy last half of the year, but excited. I know everybody's excited to get back to school. It's always a fun time of year. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a reminder, there is no meeting on Thursday, the 16th, and that's due to the Board of County Commissioners becoming the Board of County Canvassers, and to certify the election returns from the 2018 primary. Additionally, on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, there is the grand opening and ribbon cutting for Grace Med facility. I would encourage you all to show up, take a look at the new facility. It's going to be a great addition to our community to serve those underserved in our community. And then finally, there were 32 of the 88 National Night Outs in my district. I made it to 12. I had my 7-year-old in tow, and I think he had 2 snow cones, 5 ice creams, and he now believes that my job as a county commissioner is all treats.
That's good.
But I have nothing further. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session. I would move for a period of 15 minutes regarding personnel matters of non-elected personnel and consultation with an attorney for the body or agency, which we deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and this would be regarding an issue in the Parks and Recreation Department. No action is anticipated to be taken, and again, that's a motion made for 15 minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? We are adjourned into executive session.
You keep an eye on the clock.
You know you're going to have to come back even after you're done to sign minutes.
That's right.
That's interesting, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because you have a few minutes to break.
Julie was.
How's it going?
Julie was not really pleased with me when Anthony got home, and first thing, I got 5 ice creams and 2 snow cones.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, shush. Of course, he was showing his sisters all the stuff that he
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, wasn't there a lot of swag?
That's fun.
I got baseball cards and a fidget spinner and a Frisbee, and he just thought...
The jackpot, huh?
Yeah.
Got them all.
Oops. Hey, Cindy.
Pardon?
Find your pen.
Oh. Oh, it's inside the book? Or the pen? There you go.
I was trying to sign, and I thought, what is
There's
this?
a big bump there.
Yeah.
Well, have fun Thursday. I'll look for you on the national news.
Yeah.
You look for me, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a greater chance that, you'll be in the press briefing room or something.
That's going to be yeah, I don't know about that. That's going to be a long day. I guess NACO's having a breakfast at 8. And there's the tour at 10:30, and then the conference lasts from 1 to 3, or 1 to 4. It's a 3-hour conference.
So are you just flying out and then coming back? Or
No, I'm flying out Wednesday morning and then flying back Friday.
Okay, Commissioner, you can come back in.
We are back from executive session, no action taken. We are adjourned.
The minutes, Cindy.